The book The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel explores the complex and often irrational ways people think about money. It presents a collection of short stories that reveal how human behavior, emotions, and biases profoundly influence financial decisions, often more than knowledge or mathematical skill. The core message is that financial success is less about intelligence or technical knowledge and more about managing one's emotional and psychological impulses. Managing money is less about intelligence or complex calculations and more about human behavior. People often think succeeding with finances requires specialized knowledge, but emotional control, discipline, and self-awareness make a bigger impact. For instance, a highly educated economist can go broke due to unchecked greed or fear, while a modest earner might amass a fortune by consistently saving and investing over decades. The book highlights how background, upbringing, and individual experiences shape risk tolerance and financial choices, making money a deeply personal affair for everyone. Everyone makes financial decisions based on their unique life experiences, and what appears irrational to one person may make perfect sense to another. People who've lived through hyperinflation or stock market crashes are likely to view risk, savings, and investment differently from those who grew up in stable economies. One family might hoard cash after living through a recession, while another family invests aggressively due to witnessing surges in the market during their formative years. The lesson is to recognize that everyone's approach to money is shaped by history and psychology, not just logic. Success in finance often involves a mix of luck and risk. It is easy to assume that wealth is purely a result of hard work or smart decisions, but randomness plays a significant role. For example, Bill Gates became the world's richest person, in part because he had access to a computer in high school in the early 1970s, a rare privilege at that time. While being industrious matters, circumstances beyond one's control can make or break fortunes. Acknowledging the influence of luck and risk encourages humility and fair judgment of others and oneself. One of the hardest financial skills is knowing when you have enough. Many people continually raise their expectations and desires, chasing after more money, status, or material goods. But the pursuit of more can result in ruin, as seen with individuals like Bernie Madoff and Rajat Gupta, who risked everything despite already being extraordinarily wealthy. True wealth is about having the freedom to live on your terms, not endlessly comparing yourself to others or letting social benchmarks dictate your happiness. Compounding is one of the most powerful yet misunderstood forces in finance. Small, consistent efforts done over long periods can produce extraordinary results. For example, Warren Buffett accumulated 99% of his wealth after his 50th birthday, primarily due to the effects of compounding. Patience, time, and discipline matter far more than finding the highest earning investment. Skipping investments during a downturn or cashing out prematurely can break the compounding effect, rendering all previous efforts for naught. Decisions driven by emotions such as panic selling in downturns or excessive optimism in bull markets often sabotage long-term wealth. For example, many investors sold their stocks during the 2008 financial crisis out of fear and missed the subsequent recovery. Instead of pursuing rational strategies that are hard to stick to during emotionally intense periods, it's more effective to craft a reasonable approach you're likely to maintain even during volatile conditions. A rational financial plan on paper doesn't always align with real human behavior. Most people do not optimize every decision for maximum mathematical gain. Instead, they seek comfort, security, and meaning. Some might pay off a mortgage early, even if investing would yield a higher return just for peace of mind. The book advises creating financial plans built on reasonableness, habits, goals, and routines you are comfortable sustaining for decades. Accumulating wealth doesn't always require a high income. It's often more about saving consistently and living below your means. Housel emphasizes that savings rate, frugality, and financial discipline ultimately matter more than how much you earn. For example, a person earning $40,000 but saving 30% annually may end up wealthier than someone earning $100,000 but spending most of it. Savers create future flexibility and resilience, which are invaluable in unpredictable times. A core message of the book is that true wealth means having the ability to control your time and make choices aligned with your values. This often requires living below your means, even if you can afford luxury. For example, someone who accumulates savings and avoids excessive debt is more likely to walk away from a toxic job, take a sabbatical, or pursue a new opportunity without fear. As Housel puts it, money's greatest value isn't in purchasing material items, but in gaining flexibility and control over your life. Rather than maximizing gains, it is more important to avoid catastrophic losses. Taking ruinous risk can erase years of disciplined effort. Smart investors focus on survival, staying in the game rather than chasing the biggest possible win. As an example, diversifying investments and maintaining emergency funds are practical ways to secure your financial future from unpredictable shocks, such as job loss, illness, or market crashes. Life is uncertain and ever-changing. The book recommends building financial flexibility and being ready to adapt your plans as new information or circumstances arise. People often overestimate how consistent their goals and desires will remain. For example, someone might be obsessed with luxury cars in his 20s, only to find that in his 40s, he values freedom and family time far more. Never anchor all decisions on a static vision of your future self. It's tempting to compare financial choices to friends, celebrities, or market pundits whose circumstances are vastly different from your own. Many people buy houses, cars, or stocks because someone else did, without considering their own needs, time horizon, or risk tolerance. The book stresses the importance of crafting financial decisions based on personal goals, timeline, and comfort with risk, rather than copying others blindly. Saving isn't just about stashing away money for a specific purchase or emergency. Instead, the act of saving provides optionality, the ability to take advantage of unexpected opportunities, weather crises, or pursue passions without financial stress. For example, Alice saved diligently with no clear goal and was able to quit her job and support her family when her partner fell ill. Savings offer freedom, reassurance, and hidden flexibility. People rarely predict how much they will change in the future. Financial plans should account for evolving priorities, needs, and dreams. What seems important at 30 may mean little at 50. Instead of making irreversible commitments or anchoring on sunk costs, such as refusing to sell a losing investment, remain adaptable. Financial flexibility enables you to pivot as circumstances and preferences shift. Success with money requires humility when times are good and forgiveness when mistakes are made. Too much ego fuels overconfidence and risky bets. Too little self-compassion leads to regret and paralysis. Olivia, for instance, inherits a large sum and manages it wisely by diversifying investments, saving for emergencies, and supporting causes close to her heart, rather than being driven by ego or fear. Most wealth is built by simple, patient, long-term behaviors. Investors who continuously try to time markets or chase quick wins typically underperform those who are disciplined, consistent, and patient. For example, Stock market data consistently shows that staying invested during downturns leads to better long-term outcomes than panic selling or trying to pick tops and bottoms. Money buys time and choice, the ultimate freedom. The book argues that the greatest benefit of wealth is not flashy displays but the power to say no, walk away, and spend time as you please. For instance, financially secure individuals often report the most satisfaction not from luxury, but from the freedom to spend their days with people they love or pursue passions without compromise. Comparing your situation to others is a recipe for perpetual dissatisfaction. The Joneses may appear wealthy, but that doesn't reveal their debts or stress. Focus on your own goals and journey, rather than trying to outdo or keep up with others. Being content with enough and resisting the urge to expand your lifestyle with every raise or windfall is essential for long-term stability. Some of the most effective financial habits are also the simplest: regular saving, prudent spending, diversification, and continuous learning. Complex, high-risk investment strategies rarely outperform disciplined, boring routines over decades. The book encourages readers to focus on enduring principles, not the latest financial fads. Integrating the above lessons leads to humility in success, grace in failure, steadiness in saving, and preparation for both good and bad times. The story of Olivia, who invested part of her inheritance, saved for emergencies, and gave back to her community, demonstrates the value of applying these core lessons for resilient wealth and a meaningful life. By understanding the deep psychological forces that drive financial behavior, the psychology of money empowers readers to make calm, thoughtful, and practical financial choices, shaping wealth, success, and satisfaction for the long term.